Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new day of Road to TCG Worlds 2019. As you can see, we have yet another champion deck from the second of the three regionals that happened just this past weekend. This one is from Santa Clara Regionals. Kian Amini won the regional. I believe it's his fourth regional win in the course of his Pokemon career. I was actually paired against Kian back in Denver in our last round where we ID'd, hoping for both of us to get top 16. He hasn't been playing much. He's been playing just enough to secure his invite, so it was really cool that he even said himself that he only needed top 128 in order to secure his invite to Worlds, and then that was his goal for the day, and he ends up winning the event. So that's pretty nice of him. And yeah, we have another Reshizard concept, yeah, very different from mine. I mean, other than Reshizard and Welder, I guess, we have very little in common in between two lists. This one relies solely on the Volcanion. That's the correct Volcanion, but now it's in Japanese. For the life of me, I couldn't figure out on Proxy Croak how to make the Unbroken Bonds English Volcanion show up. So I had to settle for the Japanese one, but this one is the correct one because the one I showed in my video actually was the old one from Steam Siege, I believe. Obviously, I didn't use that one. I used the Unbroken Bonds one, but that was something funny that people pointed out. I had not realized until people pointed it out in the video. If you haven't checked it out, I'm also giving away one of my top 8 playmats from the regional, so definitely go and check that out. And yeah, he has the same Reshizard trying to power up through Volcanion. Volcanion is really nice because then you have Welder going into turn 1, but then if you lose the flip and you go second, Volcanion actually still really helps you out by allowing you to attach 3 energies rather than just 1 with its first attack. So really nice combination there. And then Kian had the Evian Snorlax GX, which is definitely helpful. It allows you to bypass, or it helps you bypass the weakness that Reshizard has to Slowking. I do believe that if I had Evian Snorlax, the final, I dominated the top 8 and top 4 Zoroark decks anyways, but Evian Snorlax would have definitely made my final matchup a lot easier because it's not easy to KO it, and if you even heal it with Miltank, then it's even more difficult to get a KO on it. So something to consider for the future. Kian did use the greens version of the deck, which relies on greens, setting you up for the future, grabbing cards like Welder and Fireflint so you can Welder next turn, grabbing double Custom Catcher so you can Guzma, well, not Guzma, so you can target down the right Pokemon. He was also playing the tech Stealthy Hood in order to bypass Valplum and not just hope to let loose them into Oblivion like I did. It was successful, but honestly I got really lucky there. So having greens means playing things like 1 of Stealthy Hood, 1 of Max Potion, 1 of Field Blower, 1 of Switch. It's much more viable because you're able to directly search for them, right? Whereas in my list, playing singles, right, of any card didn't make much sense purely because I can't directly search for them, right? Like Jirachi could maybe fetch them, but Jirachi only looks at the top 5 cards, not through my whole deck like Greens does. But the drawback of Greens is that you can't play Pokemon like Jirachi, Pokemon like Tapu Lele, Pokemon like the Dene GX, which obviously their abilities really help. Kian did also play 2 forms of healing, the Max Potion and the Acerola. I really like the Lieutenant Surge's strategy here because sometimes the first Charizard goes down before you've taken 3 prizes, and therefore you're behind, and that means Lieutenant Surge's strategy allows you to go like Welder, attach the energies, and then greens for double Custom Catcher and target down the right Pokemon. I love my games. My opponents knew or could plan around the fact that I couldn't Welder and Guzma on the same turn. However, this deck can have that effect, and it plays the same Guzmas as well. For Pokegear, it helps consistency along with the Nest Balls. The Fireflint go really well with the Welders, of course. Kukuis are nice because they give you an out to deal with the mirror matches and be able to deal 280 damage total with a Choice Band in order to get back-to-back KOs in the mirror match rather than relying on the GX attack and then some little poke damage. The Field Blower is overall very useful in this format right now. There's a lot of very good tool cards that you want to remove. There's a lot of really good stadiums that you might want to remove. So it's overall a very nice tech. Even 2-off could potentially be good. And then Kian, his only form of disruption to his opponent was the Judge. That's one thing that I think is the weakest link of this deck, because not only is it susceptible to Judge if you have to like greens for an item card, like if you greens on turn 1 for Welder and Fireflint, you're just asking to get judged or let loose there, right? And then definitely attacking with Charizard and using let loose either to replenish my hand up to 4 cards or just reduce the chances that my opponents would have the right combination of cards in order for them to respond to my attack was definitely a very important strategy for my deck and throughout the whole tournament. So that's another weakness that I see with this list, that even though it's very reliable and it sets up very reliably, the Judge does mean, the one-off Judge means you're not going to be able to disrupt your opponent too much. So if they manage to stabilize or you don't apply as much early pressure as you would want to, then that could be very costly. Another big difference is the switching count, right? Obviously Reshizard is not expected to live too long whilst in the active. However, resetting Flare Strike was super important for me, and then getting an extra card in the meantime through the use of Jirachi was also super huge. The indirect form of healing with Max Potion and Isola does give Kian a slight edge, because I did need a lot of switching cards as well just to try and activate Miltank at least once or twice during any given game. But I could see the one-off switch hurting a little bit in this list. I mean, obviously it worked out for Kian, but I'm sure he would never say no to a second switch. And then the final form of disruption this deck has, instead of trying to attack Zoroark's hand, it actually tries to stop them from using trades and or Persian GX's ability through the use of Power Plant. So that is another way you can control the tempo of the game. Getting an attack in with a Judge and a Power Plant is super powerful, especially against decks that are now relying more on the Dene GX to draw them extra cards, that rely on trade, that rely on things like Persian GX's ability. So really nice inclusion there, especially because he doesn't play any item cards, any abilities himself, neither non-GXs nor GXs. So really nice there. Energy count is a bit low, but definitely compensated by the triple Fire Crystal, and especially because greens gets you Fire Flint, which immediately gets you 4 energies out of the deck. So the lower energy count definitely doesn't matter as much. I believe the list I showcased that had greens actually featured 15 basic fire energy to try and get the welder off on turn 1 more reliably for the double energy attachments, but I guess Kian was more comfortable decreasing that count and adding in techs like the Max Potion, like the Stealthy Hood, like the Surge, like the Stretcher, like the Switch, the Kukuis, the Iserola, all of those, right? Like the core of the deck is still the same, but Kian's deck definitely has a wider array of options, I would say. Not much else to say about the list. I like Deviant Snorlax. I think it's going to be a staple moving forward in Reshizard decks. Now that everyone has seen its power, I believe people are going to go even more hardcore in trying to counter it, and therefore varying your weakness and having a really solid attacker in Evian Snorlax is actually a really good idea. Evian Snorlax was less good before because everyone was so focused on fighting types in order to counter Pigrom and hit for weakness on Pigrom that Evian Snorlax just got like it was less useful then. Like even a Kiawe based Evian Snorlax deck was just not great because it shared the same weakness as the best deck in the format. But now both Reshizard and Eevee have different weaknesses, and playing a Zoroark deck that has Slowking and Lycanroc and or Lucario doesn't seem very reliable because of the energy counts. You need triple acceleration for Slowking to be effective, but triple acceleration barely does anything to help Lycanroc, therefore you need basic fightings or unit energies, which can be useful for Zoroark as well, but then Zoroark really appreciates DC and triple acceleration, so you see where I'm going there. Like the energy starts being a big hassle, whereas a more straightforward Zoroark's Slowking based deck is probably more effective at countering Reshiram's, and that's where Evian Snorlax comes in. So there's no deck that can beat everything. Not Snorlax. Zoroark is definitely one that tries to by playing a lot of different stage 1s. But if you're only playing Zoroark plus a fighting type stage 1, plus a water type stage 1, and you're trying to fit in Persian, which I think is a really good inclusion in the deck, you're definitely going to struggle with consistency and finding the right attacker at the right time. But anyways, guys, that will be all for the Green's Reshiram video. Once again, TCG not working optimally here in Brazil, but I did want to showcase Kian's list. I also know a lot of you appreciated the different format for the deck list, because sometimes it's not as easy to look at the full list in detail in my videos if you're watching on mobile. But my videos, my PTGO videos should be 1080p quality now, so hopefully that makes it easier to get. Yeah, and when I remember, I tried to put the list. I think I've been doing better at putting the list that I use of the deck from the video in the description, so you can look for it there. But anyways, guys, that's gonna be it. Don't forget to leave a like, and I really appreciate your support. Don't forget we have the giveaway on my champion video. From Monday, I believe, is when I uploaded it. So go check that out. It's very simple. All you need to do is comment on the video. So go do that. And if you haven't yet, subscribe and or like this or any of my videos. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow, where I will be reviewing the Zapdos Ultra Beast list that won in Sydney. Thank you guys, and bye-bye.